Hello and
Hello.
welcome to Romania.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Really good, really good.
Really good.
Excited for tonight.
Excited for this morning.
Yeah, this morning. Yeah.
This morning. Quick question. I mean, I remember discovering you with the remix for Zoo.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
my
long time
first
ago.
time when I heard about
Yeah.
ZERB.
Yeah.
How did that process happen to make a remix for Zoo, and how things changed afterwards?
Yeah, that song I made that back in 2015, and
yeah.
that was the song that kind of like, but my first big moment in music. I started producing back in 2012, and then that remix, it's actually like a bootleg, it's not an official remix,
Yeah.
and I did with Vintage Culture, which is a massive DJ from Brazil. He's massive in the whole world.
Yeah, I know.
But he's huge in Brazil, and it was just a moment where I was just like sending DMs on back in that time, like Facebook, and I'd sent him the idea. He wanted to work with me. We released that song, and that song kind of like changed the Brazilian electronic music scene. So it was a big moment for me.
Nice, very nice. How did you discover your passion for producing music?
To be honest, I was just curious about. I always loved music since I was really young, and I always loved like music in general. I mean, so I started listening to hip hop, and then I went to rock, back to hip hop, and then I discovered electronic music. So it was like a completely passion. I was listening to electronic music every day, and then I was just curious about like how people make electronic music. So I just learned by myself online. And
What program do you use? What's your?
I started in FL Studio, but then after 1 year I switched to Logic, which I use until now.
Find it easier, or it was more on your style?
No, it was just because back in that time, FL Studio wasn't supported on Macs, and I started using a MacBook. I was like, okay, I gotta change that. So I changed to Logic.
Okay, Milwaukee happened,
Yes.
and I believe that changed your life.
Yeah. That's like the big moment for my whole career, which was like less than a year ago.
What changed? I mean,
Everything,
except
like-
from every.
Yeah, basically, I was, as we were saying, like, I started producing a long time ago, 12 years ago. And with music, there's always like ups and downs. And I always wanted an international career, which I never had. And I started like focusing on my international career, and that wasn't working in Brazil, where I'm from. So I was having this very, very bad moment in my career last year, and I was honestly like about to give up.
Oh, wow.
Because yeah, it wasn't like nothing seemed to like been working. So Milwaukee was actually like the last shot. Milwaukee is a part of an EP. I was releasing the EP. The songs weren't doing that good of the EP. And I remember telling my manager, like, to be honest, like that, I think that's it. And then 1 week after, Milwaukee started like getting traction, and like I don't know, like 2 months after, it was this massive hit.
What do you think was the thing that made people to share it and to listen to it? It was the language. It was the.
I think it's a very unique song. It's very different than everything that was happening. There's of course like a lot of influences from all these kind of like sub-genres of electronic music, but it's very unique. So people was just interested about the song, and for some reason it breaks all the barriers, because it's not just people that loves electronic music. It's a song that went like very big on radios and everything. So
Are you afraid you're gonna be a one-hit wonder?
to be honest, no, because after Milwaukee I released Addicted, which is doing even better in terms of numbers than Milwaukee, and then I just released a song with Coldplay. So it's been like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
a very like a lot of like big things happening. Like yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That was my second subject here. How did you manage to do a remix for Coldplay?
To be honest, I started reaching out to all, like, when I got the big moment with Milwaukee, I just started like reaching out to all the artists that I love, just like basically sending emails and hoping that they would respond. And a lot of them responded. For example, the Chainsmokers were one of them. That's how I worked with them. Coldplay was one of them, and that's how also I
God
worked
bless
with
Phil
them.
Harvey. I mean, it feels like Falling in Love. It's like their new single for
Yeah.
who people who don't know that, and it's becoming one of my favorites. And I was happy last week to hear it I think you played it for the first time at Tomorrowland, right?
Yeah, and I couldn't say anything because that was like 3 days after I did the session with Chris Martin. So we were in the studio at the same week. We made the song, and at the same, like, we're just like rushing to get everything done to be able to release, which we released like last week. And I played for the first time then, and I couldn't say anything about the release. And yeah, but it was the first time playing.
Yeah, I was at the stage because I was curious to see you play, and
Yeah.
when I heard it, I literally got goosebumps because it was the first time that I heard this song played by another person.
Yeah, yeah.
And then to see, oh my God, it's actually an official release, an official remix.
Yes.
And I was excited for you as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So these kind of remixes, you do it actually you do sessions for remix, or it was like a special case because you happen to be at the same place?
No, yeah, that's the different part about it. I started the idea back in Brazil, then I sent to them. They loved it, but we saw that we had we would be at the same city at the same time, so they invited me to come to the studio so we could work on the song, and that was a completely different way of working on a remix. Usually, like remix, you just receive the parts and you work on the remix. But then we got into the studio, we worked together in the song, and we recorded the whole band. We basically just made like a new version of the song, and that's why during our second session, Chris, he told me, he was like, to be honest, this don't feel like a remix because we're doing just like a new version. So what do you think about it? Like, instead of calling a remix, just calling like ZERB X Coldplay, feels like I'm falling in love. I was like, okay.
Okay, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're, like you said, one of your favorite bands.
Yes.
How did you discover Coldplay?
I mean, they're so big and they play a lot of radios that we don't even know how we just like grew up. I just like grew up listening to them in radios, and then yeah.
Have you been to any of their concerts?
Yes. During actually, like, the first session that we did was the same day that we were doing a concert.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't supposed to be a session. It was just supposed to be me meeting Chris. But then we got excited and we started working. And then I remember, like, after some hours working, he was like, I gotta work. Like, we weren't supposed to work on the song. So, like, yeah. And then I watched the show, which is amazing.
Okay. Do you remember when you heard one of your songs for the first time on the radio?
Yes. I remember I was listening to Pitong, which is this
legend,
legend DJ, and he played, and I remember he started like talking about Milwaukee. And I got like really emotional, and I was recording my reaction, so like you can see on the internet, that's my reaction. Like, I started listening, and then I get like my eyes sort of like to get like wet, like tears in my eyes, like holding to not cry.
Wow! So that was actually the first song that was played on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, like, I heard a lot, like other songs of mine playing, but it was just like, I don't know, like I did a radio show and I heard like me playing, but it's different than like hearing, for example, like a big, like legend like be done playing, and then like traveling to all these different countries, and you get into like an Uber or a taxi, and you listen to your song playing, or yeah, it's just crazy, you know.
Okay, what should people expect from your sets?
Yeah, I think tonight's gonna be really special. I'm closing the main stage, and it's different than most of festivals because I'm closing the main stage kind of like late or early
in the
depending
morning,
on
yeah.
like early in the morning. So it's gonna be 5 a.m., which is sunrise. So I think it's gonna be like a very special moment, and yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, well, we have something in common. Last night I did the same thing. I closed another stage playing some emo music
Yeah.
at an electronic music festival. It's gonna be nice. It's a great atmosphere, and people usually stay up until the morning
Yeah.
if the music is good. So no pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It was
Thanks so
nice
much.
talking
Thanks
to
so
you.
much for having me.
Now you're gonna have to say acestea sind fise.
Artista.
Sind fise. And look in the camera. Fise.
Artista zin fisse.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, go.
Artista zin fisse.
Thank you. Thank you.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.